During a cruise vacation, my husband and I made a pact: no phones, no work, just us. But one night, I woke up alone. I searched the ship until I found him on the top deck, whispering to a woman under the moonlight. My heart pounded as I hid in the shadows. "It's just a vacation, Fling," she murmured. "She'll never know." He hesitated. I took a deep breath and stepped forward. Too late. His face drained of color. Then the ship's intercom crackled. "Attention passengers, tonight's special announcement is," and what came next left him speechless. I never thought I'd be sharing this, but here goes. My husband, Daniel, and I had been married for 25 years. To celebrate our anniversary, we decided to take a 2-week Caribbean cruise. We agreed: no phones, no work, just us. The first few days were wonderful. We explored the ship, enjoyed the shows, and dined under the stars. One day, we docked in St. Thomas and spent hours snorkeling at Secret Harbor Beach. The clear waters and vibrant marine life made it unforgettable. That evening, back on the ship, I felt exhausted and suggested we turn in early. Daniel agreed. Sometime during the night, I woke up and noticed Daniel wasn't beside me. I checked the time, 2:30 a.m. Confused and a bit concerned, I decided to look for him. I threw on a light sweater over my pajamas and stepped into the quiet hallway. The ship was eerily silent, with only the soft hum of the engines in the background. I checked the casino, empty. The lounges, deserted. Even the 24-hour cafe had only a couple of crew members cleaning up. Growing more anxious, I made my way to the top deck, thinking he might be getting some fresh air. As I approached, I heard hushed voices. I slowed down and moved closer, staying hidden behind a pillar. There he was. Daniel stood near the railing, the moonlight casting a glow on his face. Beside him was a woman, her long hair flowing in the breeze. I recognized her immediately. Maria, one of the ship's entertainers. We'd seen her perform a few nights ago. I strained to hear their conversation. "It's just a vacation, Fling," Maria whispered. "She'll never know." Daniel hesitated. "I don't know, Maria. This feels wrong." My heart pounded in my chest. I felt a mix of anger, betrayal, and sadness. Taking a deep breath, I stepped out from the shadows. "Too late," I said, my voice trembling. Daniel turned, his face pale. "Sarah." Before he could say more, the ship's intercom crackled to life. "Attention passengers," the captain's voice echoed. "Tonight's special announcement, a reminder that all public areas are under 24/7 surveillance for your safety." Maria's eyes widened in panic. Without a word, she turned and hurried away, leaving Daniel and me alone. I crossed my arms, trying to steady my voice. "So, not only were you sneaking around, but you did it in front of cameras? Did you think I wouldn't find out?" He ran a hand through his hair, looking down. "I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything." "Didn't mean anything?" I felt tears welling up. "We've been together for 25 years, Daniel. We promised this trip was about us." He reached out, but I stepped back. "Please, let's talk about this privately," he pleaded. I shook my head. "I need time to think." Turning away, I walked back to our cabin, leaving him standing there under the moonlight. The rest of the cruise was a blur. I avoided Daniel, spending my days alone, lost in thought. The activities and ports of call no longer held any joy for me. Now that we're back home, I'm faced with a decision. After 25 years, is this something we can move past, or is it the end of our journey together? For the next few days on the cruise, I kept my distance. Daniel tried to talk to me. He'd hover by the pool when I was there, linger by the buffet hoping to accidentally bump into me, even waited outside the spa once. I ignored him. I didn't yell, didn't cause a scene. I just walked away every time. He left handwritten notes at the cabin. Slipped them under the door. I didn't read them. I couldn't. My heart was still raw. But then something happened. On the sixth night, I got a call on the cabin phone. It was unusual, no one ever called. It was one of the ship's managers. They asked me to come down to the security office. My stomach dropped. When I arrived, the room was cold. 2 staff members were there, along with the head of onboard security. They asked me to sit. "We need to make you aware of something," the head said. They showed me a grainy black and white video. It was from one of the security cameras on the top deck. The footage was from the night I caught Daniel and Maria. But it didn't stop when I walked away. After I left, Daniel didn't chase me. Instead, Maria came back. She wasn't crying. She was laughing. "See? Told you she wouldn't make a scene," she said, lighting a cigarette. "One more week, and that room in Bermuda is ours." "Room in Bermuda?" Daniel nodded slowly in the footage. "I need to get the money out first. She controls most of it." I froze. "We have another issue," the security officer added. "This woman, Maria, she's not a registered performer with our staff. She boarded with a forged ID. We're currently trying to locate her. Apparently, she'd been seen talking to multiple older men during the trip, men with money. Daniel was just one of many." I felt sick. They asked if I'd be willing to file a formal complaint. I said yes, but my mind was already elsewhere. I walked out of that room numb. Not only had my husband cheated, but he was ready to steal from me. From our savings. That night, Daniel cornered me outside the dining hall. "I need to talk," he said. "I already know," I replied coldly. His face twisted. "She lied to me. She said she loved me. Said we could start over." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You were planning to drain our account." He looked stunned that I knew. "You gave up on 25 years for a scammer you met on a boat?" He didn't answer. He just looked defeated. "You weren't just cheating, Daniel. You were plotting." He tried to defend himself, saying he was confused, that he was being manipulated. But I didn't want to hear it. Not then. But here's the twist. The next morning, Maria was gone. Disappeared. The staff searched the ship. She'd vanished sometime during the night. Cameras showed her sneaking into one of the staff-only areas near the lower decks. And then? Nothing. No exit. No trace. Some say she got off when we docked in San Juan under a different disguise. Some say she bribed a crew member. Others said she might still be on board, hiding. All I knew was she'd left a mess behind. And I was standing right in the middle of it. But what I didn't expect was what I found in Daniel's suitcase later that day. After Maria vanished, the whole ship buzzed with rumors. Passengers whispered in hallways and staff became tighter with security. Announcements reminded everyone not to wander into staff-only zones. But no one had answers. It was like she'd dissolved into the sea. Me? I kept to myself. Until that afternoon, when I finally opened Daniel's suitcase. I wasn't looking to snoop. He'd left it slightly unzipped, and something shiny caught my eye. Curiosity got the better of me. What I found didn't make sense at first. There was a small, black zippered pouch tucked beneath his clothes. Inside, 3 passports. One was his. The other 2? Fake. Different names, different photos, one with a beard, one clean-shaven, but both clearly Daniel. The birthdays were wrong. So were the nationalities. One said he was Canadian. The other, British. My hand shook. There was more, a second phone, powered off. A hotel keycard from Bermuda. A manila envelope with cash. Not a few $100s, thousands. I couldn't even count it all. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about cheating. It wasn't just some midlife crisis or moment of stupidity. Daniel had been planning something. A life without me. He was going to disappear. Take the money, vanish with a fake identity. I wasn't just supposed to get cheated on, I was supposed to get erased. I confronted him that evening in our cabin. I slammed the passports down on the bed. You want to explain this? Daniel sat down slowly, like the weight of everything finally crashed down on him. I wasn't going to do it, he said. Not really. It was just fantasy. I was drowning at work. At home. I felt stuck. Stuck? I nearly laughed. So your solution was to fake your death or something? I wasn't going to fake my death, he snapped. Just start over. I didn't know how to tell you. And Maria? Was she part of it, or just a tool to make the leap easier? He looked away. She offered to help. She knew people who could make it happen. So, what? You were going to disappear with her? Use one of your fake names and send me a postcard someday? He didn't answer. I felt dizzy. 25 years of marriage, and I didn't know who this man was anymore. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, listening to the hum of the ship, trying to make sense of it. Was any of our marriage real? Were our memories tainted now? Then came another knock. Not at my cabin door, at his. 2 men from ship security. They asked him to come with them. Said it was about new developments in the investigation. He looked back at me as they led him away, eyes full of fear this time, not guilt. Turns out, he'd wired money, large amounts, to an offshore account weeks before the cruise. The cruise was just the escape route. But now, there was no Maria. No one to vouch for him. And the authorities had been alerted. They were docking in Nassau the next day. And the Bahamian police? They were waiting. But what they didn't know, what I hadn't told anyone yet, was that I found something else in his suitcase. Taped beneath the lining, hidden inside the frame. A letter. Addressed to me. With just 5 words written in Daniel's handwriting, if you read this, run. And that's when I realized, maybe this wasn't just a scam. Maybe Maria wasn't just a con artist. Maybe Daniel wasn't the only one running from something. Maybe we both were in danger. The next morning, we docked in Nassau. Police boarded the ship quickly, too quickly. It was like they had been waiting for this. Passengers watched from balconies and windows, whispering behind hands as uniformed officers escorted Daniel away in handcuffs. He didn't fight it. Didn't yell. Just kept his head down. But I couldn't forget the letter. If you read this, run. Run from what? I sat in my cabin, clutching it in my hand, trying to make sense of everything. I'd spent years with this man. I knew the sound of his laugh, the way he took his coffee, the nervous twitch in his eye when he was lying. But I didn't know this side of him. Later that afternoon, the ship's security called me again. They wanted me to come to the observation lounge. Something had come up. When I arrived, the room was half full of staff and a few curious passengers. The head of security stood at the front, next to a large flat-screen TV. I think you'll want to see this, he said. They played another video clip, this time from a staff corridor near the ship's lower decks. In the video, Maria was meeting with a man, someone I didn't recognize at first. Bald, tall, wearing a ship maintenance uniform. She handed him an envelope. He gave her a new badge. Security paused the video. This man, the officer said, pointing, was arrested last year in Greece for smuggling high-value identities. He escaped custody. We think he was helping Maria disappear. And possibly, Daniel too. Everyone turned to look at me. I felt the heat crawl up my neck. I wasn't just the cheated-on wife anymore. I was part of a crime drama unfolding in real time. But that wasn't the worst of it. Security unmuted the audio of their final conversation, the part I'd never heard. Maria, she'll never survive this. She's too soft. Daniel, I don't care. I'm tired of pretending. She was never going to change. She. Me. I left the room shaking. Angry. Ashamed. Destroyed. But I wasn't going to let them break me. I went straight to the brig where they were holding Daniel. The guards allowed a short visit. They led me to a cold, metal room. He sat there, looking small for the first time. Like a stranger. I read the letter, I said. His face dropped. You were planning to run. Were you going to let me take the fall? He sighed, eyes glassy. I didn't know what to do. Everything spiraled. I got in too deep. Then why the letter? Why warn me? He looked at me hard. Because even after all of it, part of me still loved you. I couldn't let them use you. Tears filled my eyes. But you did. He said nothing. Just stared at the floor. The guards tapped the glass. Time was up. I stood, voice steady now. I hope you find whatever it is you were chasing. But it won't be me. I left without looking back. The ship set sail that evening, quieter now. Some passengers gossiped. Others gave me sympathetic looks. A few even came up to say how brave I was. But I didn't feel brave. I felt hollow. Back in the dining lounge, I sat alone near the window. The sea stretched out like it always did, indifferent. I stared at the waves, wondering how long Daniel had been drifting from me. Maybe years. Maybe longer. The next morning, an elderly woman, Margot, who'd been on the cruise with her sister, sat down beside me. He's not the first man to chase a fantasy, she said gently. But you? You walked through the fire. I didn't answer. Just nodded. The cruise ended a few days later. I disembarked in Miami, suitcase in hand, heart still bruised but mind clear. Daniel was being extradited. The charges weren't just identity fraud, they were also linked to some financial crimes back in the States. The authorities told me I might have to testify. That was fine. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't the woman standing behind him. I was the woman standing up. Now back home, I sit in a quiet apartment. Our house is being sold. Divorce papers are filed. Friends say I seem stronger. I don't know if that's true. But I know this, I gave 25 years to a man who never really saw me. Now, finally, I see myself. And while the future is uncertain, I'm no longer waiting for someone to choose me. I choose me.